We spend our lives running, not from enemies, but from pain. We avoid discomfort, bury heartbreak, and numb our fears, thinking this will make life easier. But the truth is, the more we run, the more pain chases us. It grows louder in silence, heavier in avoidance. Pain isn't our enemy, it's our most honest teacher. The moment we stop running and face it head-on, we unlock growth, wisdom, and deep inner strength. You don't have to live a life on the run. It's time to stop, stand, and confront the very pain you fear, and discover freedom within it. Pain often feels like a curse, an unwanted guest that barges into our lives, disrupting everything we hold dear. When pain strikes, whether in the form of heartbreak, betrayal, loss, failure, or fear, our first instinct is to resist it, question it, or wish it away. We ask ourselves, why me? Or what did I do to deserve this? We convince ourselves that pain is a punishment, a sign that we are flawed, unlucky, or unworthy. But this belief is far from the truth. Pain in its rawest form is not a punishment, it is a message, a profound form of communication from life itself, pointing us towards something deeper within and beyond us. Pain arrives, not to destroy us, but to awaken us. It signals that something in our life requires attention, understanding, or change. Just as physical pain alerts us to injury or illness, emotional or mental pain highlights the areas in our inner world that need healing, growth, or honest reflection. When we touch a hot stove, pain instantly forces us to withdraw our hand, preventing further harm. In the same way, when life burns us through experiences of rejection, failure, or loss, that sharp sting of emotional pain is there to wake us up, not to crush us, but to make us pause, rethink, and realign ourselves with what truly matters. The mistake most of us make is interpreting pain as proof of weakness or as an enemy to be defeated. We view it as an obstacle rather than a signal. When a relationship ends, we may drown ourselves in bitterness or self-blame, believing we failed. When we lose a loved one, we may fall into despair, convinced that life is unfair. When our dreams collapse, we may give up entirely, thinking we are not good enough. In all these moments, pain is not delivering a verdict on our worth. It is handing us an invitation, a chance to look deeper into our own hearts, examine our beliefs, learn about life's fragility, and grow in ways we never imagined. The truth is, every person who has ever achieved depth, wisdom, or greatness has walked through the fire of pain. They did not escape it, nor did they curse it. They listened to it. They allowed it to strip away illusions, pride, and false security. They learned to ask not why is this happening to me, but what is this trying to teach me? Pain, when faced with courage, becomes a silent mentor. It reveals truths about life that comfort never can. It shows us who we really are, when everything else is taken away. Think of a seed buried in the dark soil. To the seed, the process of breaking open and pushing through the dirt must feel like destruction. Yet, that is the only way it can become a tree. Likewise, pain may feel like life breaking us apart, but in reality, it is life breaking us open, preparing us for something far greater than we can see in that moment. The cracking of the shell is painful, but necessary. Without it, there is no growth, no strength, no maturity. In our modern world, we are taught to chase pleasure and avoid discomfort at all costs. We are bombarded with messages promising instant happiness, easy success, and quick fixes. This culture of avoidance makes us believe that any form of pain is bad and must be escaped immediately. But running from pain doesn't make it disappear. It only pushes it deeper, where it festers and grows. Unfelt grief becomes bitterness. Unaddressed fear turns into anxiety. Unhealed wounds transform into anger or numbness. The pain we ignore becomes the chain that holds us back in life. Yet when we choose to stop running and instead sit with our pain, even when it feels unbearable, something shifts inside us. We start to hear its message. Maybe the heartbreak is teaching us about self-respect and healthy boundaries. Maybe the failure is urging us to refine our skills or rethink our path. Maybe the loss is reminding us of life's impermanence, urging us to cherish what we have. Pain then becomes a doorway to deeper understanding, to emotional depth, to compassion for ourselves and others. It humbles us, softens our hearts, and makes us real. Some of the most powerful people are not those who have never suffered, but those who have learned to listen to their suffering. They have stopped seeing pain as a punishment and started recognizing it as a mirror, reflecting back parts of themselves they never knew existed. This shift in perspective does not remove pain, but it transforms the way we experience it. Instead of feeling cursed, we begin to feel called. Instead of feeling trapped, we begin to feel challenged. And challenges are something we can rise to meet. Life, in its essence, is a mixture of joy and sorrow, gain and loss, love and grief. We cannot separate one from the other without losing the fullness of life itself. Trying to live without pain is like trying to live without growth. It is impossible. But learning to see pain as a messenger allows us to embrace life in all its depth and richness. It frees us from the exhausting cycle of avoidance and denial. It opens our hearts to wisdom that can only be born in the fire of experience. When we accept pain as a message rather than a punishment, we reclaim our power. We stop asking for a life free of hardship and start asking for the strength to meet hardship with open eyes and an open heart. We stop feeling like victims of our circumstances and start feeling like students of life. And in that shift we unlock a resilience and depth that no comfort zone could ever give us. So the next time you encounter pain, whether it's a sharp loss, a quiet disappointment, or a deep inner ache, pause. Don't run. Don't numb it. Don't fight it. Sit with it. Ask it what it's trying to show you. Listen. You may find that beneath its sting lies a gift you never expected. A lesson that will make you wiser, a strength you didn't know you had, a truth that will set you free. Pain was never meant to be your prison. It was meant to be your guide. Avoidance is a natural human response when we encounter something uncomfortable or threatening. It seems harmless at first, stepping away from pain, distracting ourselves, pretending it doesn't exist. We think if we ignore it, it might go away on its own. We convince ourselves that time will heal everything, or that by staying busy, we can outrun the discomfort. But the truth is, avoidance never truly removes pain. It only postpones the confrontation, giving the pain more time and space to grow silently in the background of our lives. What we refuse to face doesn't dissolve. It deepens, festers, and embeds itself into our behavior, thoughts, and even relationships, often in ways we do not recognize until it's too late. The more we avoid pain, the more we empower it. Pain has a strange way of amplifying itself when ignored. Think of a small splinter stuck in your finger. If you address it immediately, remove it carefully, the pain is minor, and healing begins quickly. But if you ignore it, pretend it's not there, cover it up, or act like it doesn't bother you, it starts to swell, fester, and infect the surrounding area. What could have been a simple moment of discomfort becomes an infection that demands urgent and painful treatment. Emotional pain works in the same way. Avoidance acts like a cover that traps the wound beneath, making it rot in silence. This is why unresolved grief can become depression. Suppressed anger can turn into resentment or bitterness. Ignored fears can grow into chronic anxiety. Emotional wounds, much like physical ones, require attention, care, and the courage to face them directly. Avoidance offers temporary relief, but at the cost of long-term peace. By pretending we are fine, we build walls within ourselves, walls that isolate us, not only from our pain, but from genuine connection with others, and even with ourselves. These walls may feel protective, but over time, they imprison us in patterns of fear, denial, and emotional numbness. Another trap of avoidance is that it creates illusions. We begin to craft narratives to justify our running. We tell ourselves it's not a big deal, or I'm over it, when deep down we know we are not. We bury heartbreak under casual distractions. We hide disappointment behind forced smiles. We lock fear behind arrogance or false confidence. But the body remembers. The heart remembers. The soul carries the weight of what the mind refuses to face. These suppressed emotions often resurface in unexpected ways. A sudden outburst, an unexplained sadness, a crippling anxiety attack, or even self-sabotaging behaviors. Avoidance also robs us of genuine healing. Healing does not happen in denial. Healing begins when we have the courage to sit with our pain, to acknowledge it without judgment, to let it speak. But when we run from it, we push the pain further down, and in doing so, we prolong our suffering. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder we push it down, the stronger it resists, and eventually it bursts back up with force. Avoidance is that act of pushing down, and inevitably, what we suppress will rise with greater intensity. Moreover, avoidance limits our personal growth. Every painful experience carries within it a lesson, a key to understanding ourselves and the world more deeply. When we avoid pain, we miss the opportunity to grow from it. We miss the chance to develop resilience, wisdom, and strength. Facing pain stretches us beyond our comfort zones and teaches us endurance. It shapes our character and deepens our empathy. But avoidance keeps us stagnant, trapped in the same cycles, repeating the same mistakes, fearing the same shadows. It keeps us immature in our emotional responses and fragile in the face of adversity. Avoidance is often driven by fear. The fear of being overwhelmed, the fear of breaking down, or the fear of not being able to handle the truth. But the ironic part is, facing the pain is rarely as unbearable as the suffering caused by avoiding it. The fear of pain is usually far greater than the actual experience of sitting with it. When we finally turn to face what we have been running from, we often discover that we are stronger than we thought. The monster in the dark is rarely as terrifying when we shine a light on it. There is also a societal aspect to avoidance. We live in a culture that values positivity, quick fixes, and instant gratification. We are taught to move on quickly, to stay strong, to look on the bright side. While optimism has its place, forced positivity can become a form of avoidance. We skip the necessary grieving, the honest reflection, the messy emotional work, and instead jump to a fake sense of being okay. But genuine strength is not in pretending we are unaffected. It is in acknowledging our wounds and choosing to heal with honesty and patience. Avoidance can also damage our relationships. When we avoid addressing personal pain, it leaks into how we treat others. We may become distant, defensive, overly critical, or emotionally unavailable. Our unresolved pain creates barriers that prevent deep connection. In avoiding our own hurt, we often hurt others, not intentionally, but inevitably. Authentic relationships require vulnerability, and vulnerability means being honest about our struggles. When we choose avoidance, we deny ourselves the intimacy that comes from shared human experience, from the mutual acknowledgement of pain and healing. On a deeper level, avoidance cuts us off from ourselves. It fragments our inner world, creating a disconnect between who we are and who we pretend to be. This inner division breeds a sense of emptiness, a quiet dissatisfaction with life. We may achieve outward success, maintain social appearances, or even convince others that we are happy, but inside, we feel hollow. This is because true peace comes not from avoiding pain, but from integrating it, allowing it to become part of our story, a chapter in our journey, not something to be erased or hidden. The cost of avoidance is always higher than the cost of confrontation. Avoidance delays the inevitable, prolongs the suffering, and deepens the wound. Facing pain, though difficult, is the path to freedom. It releases the pressure we've carried, dissolves the fear that has gripped us, and opens the door to genuine healing. It allows us to reclaim our power and choose a life of authenticity over illusion. When we finally stop running and meet our pain with open eyes and an open heart, we realize that pain is not as destructive as our fear of it. We find that we are capable of holding both the sorrow and the strength, the grief and the gratitude, the pain and the peace. We discover that pain loses its power over us the moment we stop giving it power through avoidance. In facing it, we transcend it. The freedom we long for is not on the other side of avoidance. It is on the other side of courage. Pain is often seen as a force that weakens us, something that strips away our confidence and drains our strength. But in reality, pain has the power to do the exact opposite, if we allow it. When we face pain instead of running from it, when we meet it head-on with courage and openness, it becomes the very thing that builds our inner strength and resilience. It stops being a force that breaks us and becomes a process that shapes us into stronger, wiser, and more grounded individuals. This transformation, however, only happens when we choose to confront our pain, rather than avoid it. The experience of facing pain challenges us in ways comfort never can. Comfort zones may give us a sense of safety, but they rarely help us grow. In contrast, pain forces us out of complacency. It strips away illusions, exposes our hidden fears, and brings to the surface everything we often try to bury. In those raw moments of confrontation, we discover parts of ourselves we didn't even know existed, reserves of courage, depths of patience, unexpected strength. Pain acts like a refining fire, burning away the superficial and bringing forth the core of who we truly are. Resilience isn't born in ease, it is forged in adversity. A person who has never faced challenge or hardship often crumbles at the first sign of trouble. But someone who has walked through pain, sat with discomfort, and learned to endure suffering gains a mental and emotional toughness that nothing else can provide. This toughness isn't about becoming hard or cold, it's about developing a flexible, grounded strength that allows us to bend without breaking. Just like muscles grow stronger when they are stretched and challenged, our inner strength grows when we meet life's difficulties with a steady heart. One of the ways pain builds resilience is by teaching us patience. Pain is rarely solved overnight. It requires us to sit through uncomfortable emotions, to endure moments of helplessness, and to move forward even when the way isn't clear. This waiting, This enduring without giving up strengthens our ability to persevere in other areas of life. We learn that not everything can be fixed immediately, and that sometimes, simply holding on through the storm is its own form of victory. Patience, forged in the fire of pain, becomes a quiet but unshakable force within us. Pain also builds humility, not the kind of false modesty that comes from insecurity, but a genuine understanding of our human limits. When we face our own suffering, we realize that we are not invincible. We become aware of our vulnerability, our fragility, and our dependence on others. But instead of making us weaker, this awareness makes us stronger. It strips away arrogance and replaces it with a grounded confidence rooted in reality. We no longer need to pretend we have it all together, because we have learned that strength includes the ability to admit weakness. This humility deepens our relationships, strengthens our character, and makes us more authentic in our interactions with the world. Another profound gift of facing pain is the development of empathy. When we have endured suffering ourselves, we naturally become more sensitive to the suffering of others. We begin to see beyond appearances and recognize the silent struggles people carry. Pain softens our hearts and expands our capacity for compassion. It teaches us to listen more, judge less, and offer genuine support to those in need. This empathy is a powerful form of strength, one that allows us to connect deeply with others and build meaningful relationships. It transforms us from self-centered individuals into people who can make a positive impact on the lives around us. Courage is another strength born from facing pain. True courage isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Every time we confront our fears, face our hurts, or walk through painful situations, we build our courage muscle. We realize that fear does not have to control us, that pain does not have to defeat us. With each experience of facing what we once thought we couldn't handle, our belief in ourselves grows stronger. We begin to trust our ability to cope, to adapt, and to overcome. This courage becomes a part of us, giving us the confidence to tackle future challenges with a steady heart. Perhaps one of the most overlooked ways pain builds inner strength is through clarity. Pain has a way of stripping life down to its essentials. When we suffer, we begin to see what truly matters and what doesn't. We let go of trivial concerns, meaningless worries, and superficial attachments. Pain brings a sharp focus to our priorities and often ignites a deeper sense of purpose. It reminds us of life's fragility and pushes us to live with greater intention. This clarity strengthens our resolve and sharpens our focus, helping us make decisions with confidence and integrity. Facing pain also teaches us adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and suffering often comes when we least expect it. When we learn to face pain instead of running from it, we become more adaptable to life's uncertainties. We stop fearing change and start seeing it as a part of growth. We become more flexible in our thinking and more willing to adjust our course when needed. This adaptability becomes a form of strength that helps us navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with grace and confidence. Moreover, when we face pain, we reclaim a sense of control over our lives. Avoidance and denial make us feel powerless, like victims of our circumstances. But confronting pain head-on restores our agency. We begin to realize that while we may not control everything that happens to us, we always have the power to choose how we respond. This sense of personal agency is empowering. It reinforces the belief that we are not at the mercy of life's storms, but that we have the inner strength to weather them. In the end, pain is not the enemy we often think it is. It is a harsh but honest teacher, one that offers lessons no comfort can provide. By facing pain directly, we build resilience, humility, empathy, courage, clarity, adaptability, and a sense of control. We discover that the very experiences we thought would break us are the ones that shape us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate human beings. Pain loses its power to destroy us the moment we stop fearing it and start learning from it. The inner strength we gain through this process becomes a lifelong source of confidence, allowing us to face whatever life brings with a steady heart and an unshakable spirit. We often think of pain as a wall, something that blocks us, holds us back, or signals the end of something good. We treat it as a dead-end street, a point where progress stops and life loses its color. But this is a misunderstanding born out of fear. In truth, pain is not a wall, it is a doorway. On the other side of the pain we fear most lies the very transformation we seek, the growth we desire, the strength we crave, the wisdom we admire in others. All of it waits beyond the threshold of the pain we spend our lives trying to avoid. Facing pain is not the end of the road, it is the passage to a deeper, freer, more powerful version of ourselves. Pain shows up in moments of loss, failure, heartbreak, rejection, betrayal, and fear. Each of these moments carries a powerful emotional charge, often making us want to shrink, hide, or run. Our instinct is to avoid, to numb, or to deny. But when we do that, we remain stuck on the edge of transformation, never fully stepping into the life we are meant to live. The truth is, pain is often the price of admission for real change. Just as a seed must break apart before it can grow into a tree, and a muscle must be stretched and torn before it gains strength, we too must pass through discomfort, hardship, and emotional struggle to evolve into our highest potential. Transformation is not a gentle process. It shakes us, strips us, and breaks down everything false within us. Pain becomes the force that removes our illusions, about ourselves, about others, and about life itself. It tears away the lies we've believed, the masks we've worn, and the stories we've told ourselves. What remains after the storm is something more authentic, raw, and real. This is why the most profound transformations often follow seasons of intense pain. Those seasons force us to question everything, to examine our deepest fears, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to build ourselves anew from the inside out. On the other side of heartbreak, we often find self-respect and clarity about what we deserve in relationships. On the other side of failure, we discover resilience, perseverance, and the courage to try again with greater wisdom. On the other side of loss, we come to cherish life's fleeting moments with a depth of gratitude we never knew before. Pain is the fire that burns away what is shallow, leaving behind only what is true and strong, and it is in that fire that transformation begins. The choice is ours. We can spend our lives running from pain, avoiding discomfort, and settling for a shallow existence, or we can choose to face our pain, walk through it, and allow it to transform us into the people we are meant to be. The journey through pain is the journey to freedom. It is the passage from fear to courage, from weakness to strength, from illusion to truth. It is on the other side of the pain we fear most that we find the life we've been searching for. And once we've walked through that fire, we carry within us a strength that no storm can shake and a light that no darkness can extinguish.